Tom Pace on the Talk of the Town as we're wrapping up with Caddo District Court Judge Scott Crichton as we kind of look at the whole issue of the Caylee Anthony verdict, and much of it actually tried in the media, and it caused a groundswell of anger of the general public. I think they did a local poll here on one of the TV stations. 92% of the people said, I believe she's guilty. 8% said they didn't. The final question, and I think people would want to know this, is can she be tried again, even though it would be double jeopardy? Or is there a way that she could be tried?
Well, she cannot be tried by the state of Florida for the crime of murder because the double jeopardy clause of the amendment to one of the amendments to the United States Constitution prohibits that. You can't be tried twice for the same charge, and therefore double jeopardy prevents her from being retried in the state of Florida. Now, it is possible, I believe, that she could be tried by the federal government if there was more evidence, claiming a civil rights violation, perhaps, of the child. That would be up to the United States Attorney, probably the Attorney General, probably the Department of Justice would have to give approval of that. But I think that is highly unlikely. This is really more of a state matter, and the federal government really doesn't like to get involved and spend their time dealing with state matters. They will on occasion. We saw that in the Rodney King couple of cases. You know, you may recall that there was a state case in was it Sonoma Valley that resulted in acquittal of the officers. The federal government later, some months later, indicted these officers, added a civil rights component to the charge, and basically retried the case in federal court, and they were found guilty in federal court. Now, I'm not an expert on federal law, but I suspect it's possible that it could happen here, but I doubt it, seriously doubt it. This was a case that was tried to a jury. The jury heard it, and they made a call. I do want to point out one thing that I just thought of. This case is really a good example of an excellent judge. I thought, Belvin Perry, the state judge, did a remarkably great job, a splendid job in ruling in this case and presiding in this case. He gave both sides a lot of latitude to present what they needed to present and what they could present under the code of evidence, and I think he did a fabulous job in the case.
So from one judge to the other, you'd give him an A? I'd
give him an A+. He was prepared. He was there on time. His demeanor and temperament was just outstanding. And he gave 6 full weeks of his life running a capital jury for that long of a time, and having to deal with the media and deal with the volume of people is hard. It's hard work, and he did it with grace and dignity. I'm not talking about Nancy Grace, but I'm talking about the virtue of grace. He's very graceful, very prepared, excellent trial judge.
Okay, since we're grading everybody, how would you grade the prosecutor?
I think the prosecutors did great. I was very impressed with their level of preparation. They spent, I would say an A. And I would have to say, and I'd have to give the defense an A. They received a not guilty verdict on the charges that were of the most importance. I believe the lesser charges of lying to police officers and that sort of thing, I believe those are misdemeanors under Florida law, and in the overall scheme of things, that's pretty insignificant. In the overall scheme of things, I'm not suggesting any of that's not important in terms of honesty and that sort of thing, but in terms of criminal charges and penalties and that sort of thing, this defendant's a very lucky woman, in my opinion.
She's a lucky woman, Caylee Anthony, according to Judge Scott Crichton. And right now, she may be walking free in the next day or two, whenever the sentencing part of the component comes up. We're taping this actually on a Wednesday, and it is July the 6th. Now, the sentencing part occurs tomorrow, which would be the 7th down there in Florida, and the presumption is time served. She's already been in there 3 years, and each of these misdemeanors could maybe carry up to a year, that they may wash this out and just go ahead and let her go.
Well, I think it's possible. I believe it's up to the judge as to exactly what the sentence is going to be in this case. He can order consecutive sentences, and Lord knows I would do that, Tom. I would give her the max that I could on each of those misdemeanor charges and run them consecutively, that is back to back. But even if he did that, it's very likely that she would be released with time served ultimately, probably if not by the end of the week, by the end of the year. So, and I think that in terms of the legal outcome of this, it's still stunning, but and I did say she's a lucky woman. However, she has to live with what she's done. There'll be a day of reckoning. There's no doubt about that in my mind, and there'll be a day when she has to address what she did.
And only she knows what happened. Profile, spotlight, legal counsel, Judge Scott Crichton here in his courtroom at the Caddo Parish Courthouse. Tom Pace with the talk of the town as we wrap up the look at the Caylee Anthony trial and the stunning verdict of not guilty.